Welcome back. Now, in preparation for this period, we actually conducted an opinion survey in the country just to find out how people or what people think about the Tinubu's administration and its performance in office so far. Now, that survey was conducted in collaboration with Data Home Research and Communication Limited. So it's a TV360 Data Home Research and Communication Limited opinion survey. We didn't have enough time to conduct the survey. In fact, we had just probably less than a week to conduct the survey, but then the results are out, and I have Richard Adeyinka, who is the CEO of Data Home Research and Communication Limited. He's here with us. He'll be helping us to analyze the outcome of the opinion survey. Now, we also have Nelson Ekujimi, who is a public affairs analyst and a political analyst as well. He's joining us to provide some perspective now to the outcome of the survey. So, Richard, just let us know what this survey is about in detail.
Yeah, thank you, Deji. The survey was to assess President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 1 year in office. I remember in the last 1 week, the ministers and other appointees have been coming one after the other to give their scorecard, what they have been able to do in the last 1 year. So, although they were appointed in August 2023, but now they have been in office till May 29, helping the president to what he promised to make to reality, what he promised on the day he was sworn in.
Okay, so let's quickly dive into it now. There you have the slide in front of you, yes. And so you want to explain what this is? Just help us understand what this slide is about the spread of the respondents?
Yes, the respondents were quite spread to all the geopolitical zones of the country, all the 6. We have respondents from Southeast, Southwest.
So altogether, were respondents from 20 states.
20 states, yes. Even more than that. We had to edit some out because we put some measures in place so that we are sure of those that will be sending in results through their email. And we ask them to put their email so we can verify that they actually exist. So those who did not specify their email address, so we have to remove all of that, cleaning the data up. So right now we have data from 20 states of the Federation covering the 6 geopolitical zones.
Now, provide some perspective to the timing. I mean, the length of time it took to do this.
Yes, we have it started last week Thursday, so this is Wednesday. So we had about a week or less to put this together through the instrumentality of Gmail, even TV360 websites, another instrument that we use to publicize, to market the survey and get people to fill this, to respond to, because we felt that it is not enough for the ministers to assess themselves. If they have been appointed to serve the people, the people they are serving in the last 1 year must assess them, how far they have performed or otherwise. Of course, if they assess themselves, like we have seen, nobody will rate himself or herself low in the performance of his.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at the other slides now. Yes. Help us to understand this now.
Yes.
There you have the gender status.
Yeah, we started from the demographics of the respondents. So from the gender status, 84% are male, and then 16% are female.
And the next slide.
And then the religion. We look at also their religion because we feel that in Nigeria, so much is decided on the basis of religion and even ethnicity. So that is what we did. So religion, in terms of their religion, we say that 85.2% are Christians, and then Islam, 13.9%, and then other religion.
I think I want to... I raised questions about the religious slides.
Yeah.
That
the religion demography did not, cover the issue of the African traditional religion.
Yes.
Because I take offense to it that you are categorizing the African traditional religion among others. No, it's unacceptable to me.
Yes. Well, the next one we are doing, we will spread it out. We will remove ATR from there and let it stand
on its own.
Yes,
Beautiful.
Because we have to respect
the
our
African traditional
religion.
Okay, so that's a good observation. Now let's look at the next slide.
The ethnicity.
Why is ethnicity so important here?
Yes, like I said earlier, a lot is determined on the basis of, in our country, on the basis of ethnicity and religion. Whether we want to vote, the academic, anything we want to do, we allow these two indices to influence whatever.
So the majority of your respondents are Yoruba?
Yes, they are Yoruba because those we had to remove as a result of
non-adherence.
Yes, to
the
parameters. Issue of parameters that they should indicate their email address so we can understand where they are coming from and who they are. So many people that did not abide by what we put out, we remove them. So for authentication, it's very important that we authenticate them. So that is why we have the Yorubas in the majority, about 2/3 of them.
Could it be that maybe those in the Southwest got the message faster, or and those in other parts of the country didn't really get the message as fast as you would expect? I don't know. So what could be the reason for this high number of Yoruba respondents compared to other tribes or other ethnicities?
Okay, it is a possibility, but the time it took them to respond is also a factor. You don't forget that this is done online. So you also need internet and all of that to be able to respond to this.
I also think the consciousness of the people also was a determinant factor.
It was.
Because, for example, a lot of the respondents, if I have access to your data, might have come from Lagos. And, definitely it is not in doubt that a lot of them will be Yorubas, responding to it, because I'm sure you use the...
About 30% came from Lagos, but 70% majority came from other states.
Okay, let's quickly look at the next slide now, and that's on political party membership.
Yes.
So you had to find out which political parties...
So that will create an understanding of whether their responses will be greatly influenced by their
party affiliation.
Yes. So that is exactly what we did there. And then we discovered that 75.9% of them did not belong to any political party.
And again, one thing you cannot run away from is that it might be questionable that some persons who belong to political parties will tell you they don't belong to any political party.
It is possible.
But because of the fact that your data is not being determined or is not focused on party affiliation or what have you, but rather an assessment of the government.
The government in power.
Okay, let's quickly go to
for few of them that belong to political parties.
That's 18.5%.
Yes, that belong to political parties. Majority of them
were members of
APC, followed by Labour Party, and then the PDP.
And as we go ahead, I believe this would give us some insights into some of the responses and what they mean. So, the next one now, and that's the first question.
Yes, we asked that when the president took over exactly a year ago today, to what extent did they think that he will perform? And then this will establish a case of trust in the ability of the president to perform, considering his pedigree and all. So, as we can see here, 50%, half of the respondents categorically said it will perform to a great extent.
So a lot of people expected
it to perform.
Was very
high. The trust in his ability and based on his pedigree was high. And then 22% that, somewhat it will perform. Only 15% and then 12% said very little, and not at all. So, but as we can see the two here, that's more than 70%, giving trust to the ability of Mr. President to perform the task ahead. Yes, so that is what they just told us here.
Okay, so we look at the next slide now.
Yes.
And the next question here
is that
says,
now that he has been in office for that 1 year, so to what extent would they think that the president has performed? Now, this is quite different from what we had earlier. What we had a year ago was confidence high in the ability of the president to perform. Right now, the first year of the president has not been a good one according to what people are saying. So that 50% has reduced considerably to about 10%, so that he has performed
and that's really poor.
Very poor. And then
I think that 9.3% cannot be divorced from the economic realities that we are all facing.
Exactly.
So whether you belong to APC...
That will naturally influence people.
Yes, whether you belong to APC or PDP or a palm oil party, we are all going to the same market.
And let's not forget that the majority of the respondents from the earlier slide you showed are actually of the APC, identified as members of the APC.
Yes.
So this is quite
instructive.
So,
instructive.
And, you know, 4 in 10 of them said he has performed very little, and a third of them said he has not even scratched the surface. He has not performed at all. So that is confidence coming down in the ability of the president to do wonder.
Well, and again, talking to these slides, if you look at this very little, somewhat great extent, you know, you recognize that the economic realities is one in which even the administration has always highlighted.
Yes.
The removal of fuel subsidy, the unification of the forex market has resulted in the skyrocketing of price of goods and services. And you and I know very well that government does not arrest price of goods and services. But the people will not listen to, your explanation. All they want is that they want these things on their table.
The president himself told Nigerians, don't pity me, I asked for this
for the job. Yeah, I'm prepared
so
to do it.
That perhaps necessitated or influenced the high confidence people now had that, this man that is talking like this, it will perform miracle.
But so, if you were to break this down and say, okay, compare this to the number of those who said the president has done nothing at all. So when you add those who say he's done too little to the number of those who said he's done somewhat and to a great extent, the number is still higher than those who think he's done nothing at all.
Absolutely,
even
absolutely,
though it's still not encouraging.
Yes. It means with these statistics before us, it's a pointer to the fact that the government still has a lot to do going forward. And we cannot run away from that fact. Whether you are a sympathizer, whether you are a critic, the reality is staring us all in the face.
Yes, sure.
So the next slide now.
So we now ask in reverse that since the president has been in office, has the administration met their expectations on the basis of that performance? Categorically, about 40% said no. The administration has not met their expectations. Only 7% said yes, it has met it. Now, if you look at it again, yes, about 1/3 is saying yes, it has not met the expectations, but they are hopeful that things will turn around for the better.
Don't forget, this is an administration of renewed hope.
Yes, so they are saying that yes, they hope that the president will meet those expectations eventually. So, but we have hardliners among them who said categorically that the president,
whatever he does,
that no matter what he does, he cannot meet the expectation. So the president cannot meet this expectation no matter what. However, there is hope here that for those who have reduced hope now, not lost hope, who have reduced hope in the ability of the administration to turn things around, they are here. So they are waiting. They still hope that the president will do wonder. So that's about a third.
For me, I'm much concerned about this 38, almost 39% who
Yes.
said he has not met their expectations. And for me, I think they are being honest.
They are being honest.
Yes, and
these people too are being honest.
Yes, and
so far,
I want to say at this point that it is not too late in the day for us to start looking at how we can ensure that this 39%, almost 39%, and this 32%, if we put them together, is almost about
yes,
70.
that's about 70.
70%. That
yeah.
maybe if we raise up our game,
Yes.
we can eat up
Yes,
the,
you can,
with the 7.4%.
Yes, you can raise this up.
I believe strongly,
once
yes,
things begin to
take shape.
yes, and
yeah.
inflation going
Going
down,
down.
and prices of goods and services
Services, yes.
are reducing, you will see people that will express.
Absolutely.
However, if nothing changes going forward, you will
They are
see
likely to
this
get
increase.
worse.
will continue,
Will continue
to
to
rise.
rise. yes.
The truth is that you look at the situation of the country today, things are really tough. I mean,
Absolutely.
food
Very-
inflation is
very,
at
very.
record level.
Yes.
So food is a big challenge.
Very,
you know?
very.
So
you know, I'm a
and that is
Yoruba
what
man.
that is what is reflecting in the answers here.
That is
Yes,
it.
yes.
That is it.
Maybe we'll see some other slides.
Oh, okay,
soon.
yes. I guess some other slides now.
Yes.
Richard, talk us through the slide.
Okay, so we now ask them again that what are the critical areas they think, because either we like it or not, the administration has taken
at
some
least done
actions
something, yes,
and
exactly.
has done something. So in which critical areas would they think the administration has performed? In accordance with in a descending order, you see that road construction and maintenance was considered as a critical area where the president has done well, followed by peace, maintenance of peace. Of course, we know what our
Security
military
agencies are
and
doing.
all that, what they are
Yeah, I
doing
mean, yeah.
to
So
maintain peace.
this is
especially-
also a plus that, you know,
Yes, they are
whatever
doing
it is
very
the
well. The
military-
Nigerians
yeah.
are giving them thumbs
Yes.
up. Yes.
So, of course, we will always have people who say no sector at all, that the president has not done anything. The maintenance of peace, together with security of life and property, you see that
almost 25%.
Yes, so they work hand in,
26%, yes.
they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
So the maintenance of peace reflects in what
Security
the
of
president
life.
is doing
Yeah.
to secure life and property. Then the management of the economy has not gone unnoticed. You know, the efforts, you know, the CBN governor, Mr. Cardoso, and then
The
in
Ministry
the
of
Ministry of
Finance.
Finance, Wale Edun, you know, you can't fault their ability and qualification to manage this economy and bring it back. So that is
Richard,
what,
for
you
me,
know, you have.
looking at serial number 13
Yes.
on this item,
And that's
it show-
improved and...
no, cheap food and other household items.
Okay.
It shows clearly
Yes.
that the impression people have of the government effort is at its lowest.
Lowest,
Yes.
yes.
And that's what the
3.7%.
situation is. I mean,
That's
food,
the situation.
Food situation in this
so this
country is
reflects,
critical.
and similarly, the issue of electricity.
Electricity.
Look at, yes, in terms of improved electricity in some places,
But then
under
the cost.
Band-Aid, you see that they have.
No, even in some areas, even when you are not on Band-Aid,
You see
we have
that
seen improvement
situation.
in.
But the
However,
cost-
in terms of affordability,
Ability.
is an issue.
Is an
So
issue,
if
yes,
it is
absolutely.
available and people are not able to afford it,
yeah.
then
It makes no meaning.
Yes. So
Okay, let's quickly look at the next slide now.
Okay. So the president appointed 48 ministers since,
And this one for me is very important.
since
So
August
the minister
last year.
that has impressed so far. Okay,
So
go
we
on.
said which minister has impressed them the most in the last 1 year? Of course, Bumi Tunji Ojo, Minister of Interior,
Interior.
carried
Big
the day.
tops.
Carried the day.
Nelson,
He's
do
a
you
star
think
boy.
we can fault that? Because that minister has done exceedingly
No,
well.
no, absolutely not. If you
With
look
the way
at
he's turned around the passport
if you look at the
issue.
innovations that the minister has carried out within his portfolio,
Yes.
you give him thumbs up.
Yeah.
And he has not relented. A lot of things that for example, I have also been a beneficiary of his innovations. Things that I was queuing up at NIMC for days, and I was becoming frustrated. At the press of a button on my phone,
You can
I got
get
it
things
resolved.
done.
So it's not in doubt. If you ask this question on another platform, I'm very optimistic that this is the result.
We still get the same
you get.
results.
That is
And we've had ministers of interior in the past. We know how everything became.
Yes. Well, for me, also, I want to look at.
And the second one, Minister of Works.
David Umahi.
Not surprising at all.
Not surprising.
No surprise at all. He has been going round to ensure that, especially on the Lagos-Calabar.
I know we use some other federal highways.
And federal highways,
yes.
and he's been going up and down.
And the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory coming said.
Nwike, we cannot also fault Nwike.
Mr.
Nwike has moved his magic from Rivers
to
the FCT, Abuja. And even people who live there, they said things have changed. You know, so those
Richard,
are the three star boys.
I also think this Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development is doing wonders in his ministry. But unfortunately, the impact of that
is probably not directly felt by
people. Is, you know, the elites
the
are the ones.
I think what it needs to concentrate his effort and all on should be things that when people walk into the airport, government is not going to acquire aircraft and say, come and lift people. No. But when people walk into the airport,
what do they experience?
What do they see?
The toilets, everything.
What they experience? What are the things that have been provided? Yes, that will make people's going out and coming in to be,
pleasant.
Comparable to what they see elsewhere.
Because this is the point, Nelson. Imagine you walked into an airport and everywhere is stuffy, the air conditioners are not working. You go to the toilet, the toilets are dirty, not cleaned, as we see them in some of our airports here. And then you have people hanging around and probably harassing you and asking you for money, those who are supposed to be cleaning the toilets. You have water flowing, water spilling on the floor and all of that, which is what we see. And the escalators not working. All of that, of course, will make a very bad impression on people's
assessment. And look at also, we have multiple agencies, checking and using that opportunity to demand, something from you, what do you bring for us, and all of that. And if you are not able to part with things, they frustrate you and all of that. So the minister needs to do more on what will impact the people.
What about the Minister of Agriculture? What's his rating there? Because that is one critical ministry, especially now that we're talking about
looking for the
food security.
Minister of Agriculture.
Unfortunately, the Minister of Agriculture does not seem to be doing well at all.
He's not here.
We can't fault that the people didn't even reckon with him. Because if you are working...
Are you sure he's not there?
It's not on this table.
It's not on this table.
It's not on this table from the response.
So this is a glaring evidence that for many people, the Minister of Agriculture has not been performing.
For them, it's like he doesn't exist. Or that means
if he exists,
because he doesn't make any impact on their lives.
If he exists, we will see the impact on the prices of food.
And for his name not to even feature here, then that's a damning.
It's a damning verdict. It's a damning verdict.
So he just needs to buckle. I read somewhere where he said government has spent 309 billion on agricultural intervention and all. What's the essence of spending that money? That people cannot feel the impact. You can't go to our markets, you can't go to our stores, our malls, and buy things at cheaper rates. And
the reason why this is very important, I should emphasize, is that as we speak now, there are calls for some ministers to be dropped. There's no, people feel some ministers have not performed well. Out of 48 ministers,
we only mentioned
22 came into the public
others
space under this survey.
Even here, you can question what these people, and that is why you have, and it is important that we say it. If you look at the percentages, 0.9%, even less than 1%.
At least to even get a mention is something, but not to get at all.
Minister of Youth, what can we say the minister has done? Minister of Education, what can we say? Humanitarian and poverty alleviation, yes, she has been suspended on suspension. So, out of those, women affairs, what can we say? Labor and employment. Labour has been fighting with federal government on the issue of...
You see,
know,
Richard, for me,
minimum
the
wage
way
and all.
I see this is, look, for any minister who gets a mention here, it's a credit.
It is a
It's
credit.
a credit.
It
It
is a
means
credit.
that ministry or that minister is doing something that people are taking note of, but
For
not
sure.
to be mentioned at all.
Another,
It's a clear
another
indictment.
minister for me that I think should take more credit than he's getting is the Minister of Solid Minerals. Don't forget.
Yes,
During
exactly.
his ministerial press briefing, his ministry has even overshot, the expectation of the budgetary expectation.
I think part of the problem would be that probably the ministry's work is not being directly felt by the ordinary man, because
Yes.
there's no question that ministry has done well. As
Has
we
done
speak
well.
today,
Yes.
through the effort of that ministry,
Ministry,
we
yes.
have at least two, I know of that, at least two lithium factories
Yes.
in
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yes.
I mean, we didn't have them before now.
And we have
And
seen,
more are coming.
And we have seen
Sure.
the ministry is cleaning up the criminality in that industry,
In that industry,
trying to
yes.
change the industry to become a major foreign exchange earner for the country. And for me, that's a good one. It means that the ministry still needs to do more with regards to its public, engagement.
Yes.
If he's doing so well and the people are not seeing it,
they can't feel it.
because
so-
the essence of government, as far as I'm concerned, is communication. You must be able to communicate to those you are serving.
Very important, so they know how they can also benefit. See, it is not enough to say you are doing this. It is important to let people know that
What you're doing.
this is how you can key in,
Into, yeah.
feel it, for whatever reason, so that they know that they have a minister that is working.
Serving them.
If nothing reaches the people from what the ministry is doing, of course they will say, well, what are you doing?
Yeah,
We don't-
in fact,
we
some
don't
of them
know
will
what
be
they are
even be
doing.
Okay.
ignorant of the existence of the ministry.
That is it.
All right, let's just take a quick break here. We will come back to continue this analysis of the opinion survey, because we still have more to come. So stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. And if you've just joined us, you're watching a special edition of our program now to mark the first anniversary of the President Tinubu's administration. It's first anniversary in office now. And of course, I have Richard Adeyinka and Nelson Ekojimi here with me. And together, we've been analyzing now and dissecting the opinion survey conducted by TV360 and Data Home Research and Communication Limited. And to be candid, well, the outcome of that survey has been very revealing. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Let's go now to the next slide. And Richard, you take over.
Yes. Based on all the assessment of the government programs and then the ministers, we now ask the respondents, based on the performance of the administration, how will you rate the president himself? What do we have? We have only 1 point, about 2% rating the president
as excellent.
And another group of 5.6% rating him very good. However, these are good. If you know, they are still less than 10%. Now, if we cross to the other side, we have average, which is about a quarter of the respondent rating him average. However, a third has rated him poor, and another quarter rating him very poor. So this is like a scorecard of the president, that so far the president has performed poorly or very poorly,
Well, it's a reflection of the realities of the economy. And don't also forget that those economic policies that the government has put in place on assuming office, the immediate consequences of it
impact
is what we are all grappling with. And the government has admitted it. And to tell you that this is a reflection of the people's perception of what they are going through. So it's a reflection of our economic reality, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So it's something that even the administration itself has said we are aware, they have admitted, and they are giving us that assurance that, look, we'll do better. Things are shaping up. You recall that Mr. President was in Lagos about 2 or 3 days ago, and he said we have gotten around the curve.
Yes.
We are looking at,
we can only,
continue to hope.
Things can only continue to go down.
And
so
let's also take our mind back to the first few slides or so. The majority of these respondents actually identified as APC members, so that people don't begin to impute some kind of political motives to this. But the truth is that whether you're APC, PDP, or Labour Party, you're first of all a Nigerian.
Absolutely.
And if things are not going too well, it affects everyone. So it's not as if things go well, everyone benefits. So let's look at the next slide now, very quickly.
This is the last slide, and it says that we as the respondent, now of all your assessment and all of that, you must be able to provide solution going forward. Which area
that people want
that the president should focus on going forward? Expectedly, food and household items.
So it says a lot, Nelson, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely, I agree. Because I'm a Yoruba man, and we have this saying in Yoruba land that says, "Ebi kin wonu koro mi iwo," meaning that one cannot be hungry and listen to any. It will not be rational. An hungry man is an angry man.
Sure.
But for me, as much as I recognize that cheap food and other household items score 54.6%, I'm at a loss because our respondents seem to have, seem to be ignorant of what it takes for food to be cheap. Because looking at support for farmers across Nigeria, we have 6.5%, which is an inconsistency if they really understand what it, because government will not produce food for us.
Yes.
It is the farmers.
Yes.
And maybe people in the agricultural sector. So I would have expected our respondents to know that the support for farmers in Nigeria is very, very critical. You just mentioned about 3.6 billion or so.
Yes.
And I'm sure that money did not go to the federal government. It went to farmers and what have you. So the cheap food, there's no doubt about that is the major challenge we are all facing
And
now.
if you look at the support for farmers, don't forget, they are not farmers. They are not farmers. So what they are interested in is...
They don't want to know how...
Just give us food. And it also tells on the Ministry and Minister of Agriculture. It has a lot to do to bring this down, to ensure that people go to the market with whatever they take to the market to be able to buy things to feed 1, 2, 3 families. So it is very important that we work on this going forward. Food is very important.
I agree.
And after food, you see
creation of jobs.
Jobs is important. Even the NBS data is showing that youth unemployment is very high. So we have to work on this. And how do you do that? Many companies are folding up as a result of many factors. Minister Wale Edu said yesterday that the current government is not responsible for why over 800 or 8,000 companies packed up, So it means companies are folding up. If companies are folding up, it will lead to unemployment. It will lead to loss of jobs. It is very important that government must look at whatever we bring down this employment that will make companies to survive in Nigeria. It is not enough to bring people, investors from abroad and anywhere to come and invest. How far can they go? Will they remain here?
Even when the times
become tough. When you are no longer in power.
And
will those companies survive?
Sorry to interject very quickly. If you go back to the issue of people saying that the president and his administration should focus on cheap food and household items. Household items now. It clearly tells you that, look, they just want inflation to come down.
Absolutely.
The
major challenge we are battling is...
inflation at 40% and above is way too high.
It's way too high,
so basically what they are telling the government to do is address the issue of inflation,
inflation.
especially
Very
food
important.
inflation.
It is very important.
That is affecting, this inflation is seriously affecting food and other household
Very
items.
true.
And these
That
are
is
the
very
basic
true.
things that,
Absolutely.
that Nigerians
Absolutely.
actually want
Yes.
addressed.
Absolutely.
So I just hope the administration is looking at this.
Yes.
And,
Affordability, electricity. The president promised that electricity must be affordable. The issue of band where some people will be spending 400,000. I know a teacher, family of teachers, where they live around the Fagba Obaole. They lump them together with one
The
estate
Bande.
there on Bande. How? A salary of 80,000 and they are using almost 40-50,000 on electricity alone. And you have many families like that,
yeah.
scatter all over Lagos. So,
Or even Nigeria.
yes, so whatever government will do as we improve electricity, the costing must reflect what people earn. Because
we look at water. Not a surprise that not much was said about water, because it's actually not the responsibility of the federal government.
State government should
states.
do this.
Yeah, that
And
should.
local government.
The provision of water has gone even beyond the states. It has now become the responsibility of individuals. A lot of us who have homes now have to provide our water.
Maybe government
through
should
boreholes.
remove Ministry of Water Resources.
Okay.
So that
All right. I think that will be all. I just want to thank you, Richard. This is a wonderful job that you have done, and
Thank
to
you, Richard.
do this
Thank
within
you.
a very
Thank you.
short time, honestly, and then get this result is quite impressive. And the hope is that the government would take a cue from that and then do something. Nelson, let me just get a final word from you.
Well, my final word is that I want to congratulate Richard for the wonderful work he has done. Okay. And I hope that the authorities will be able to see this and, take it as a lesson to improve the economy for the betterment of the Nigerian people, so that they will be able to rate them better than this when we are counting second year in office.
Yes, and it's the second year in office that we would expect to see, more, that we would expect to see concrete achievements. Because let's not forget, the government came into office on the 29th of May 2023, but effective governance did not begin from day one. We can't deny that.
Yes.
I mean, there were distractions with the tribunal cases, and it took a couple of months before ministers were sworn in. So when you talk about effective governance, we've not had that for probably more than 6 to 7 months. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
But let's just hope we see better performance
Absolutely.
going forward, so that
Absolutely.
May 29th, 2025,
yeah.
when we come to analyze this, we would see something much more positive now to talk about. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. And thanks for coming. All right, we'll take a short break, and we'll come back and to conclude the show, and this time we'll be talking about politics and governance in the country. Stay with us, don't go away.